Hello beautiful people, my name is Bridget and welcome back to my channel. I know I don't look the best right now, but that's okay. So today we're going to be trying out the new Cherry Crush collection from Colourpop. This is like one of their best collections in a while in my personal opinion. They release so much stuff that every once in a while there's one that's just like super cute. So today I wanted to test out the new Cherry collection, test out an eyeliner and the palette, of course, which is the main thing of the collection. And I also got the cute mirror because I'm a sucker for hand mirrors. But today I just wanted to do a look together, testing out this palette, getting a really good red look going, and like maybe chat a little bit because I feel like it's been a little bit since I updated you guys. But without any further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, before we get started with today's video, if you don't mind, give me a thumbs up on this video because it does help me out, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't down below. That would mean a lot to me. Also, I'm going to give a quick shout out to my brand, theopencrypt.com. Today I'm wearing the Bonesy earrings, which are a full skeleton little guy with sterling silver hooks. I've been working so much on this brand. We have a whole new collection of wax melts, which are super nice. I'm very proud of them. And like, I don't know, I've just been expanding and working really hard this week especially. We have a whole bunch of new launches lined up, which I'm happy to see how you guys like them. Without any further ado, guys, let's get started testing out the eyeshadow palette because I know that's why we're here. Okay, so the Cherry Crush palette looks like this. She's a very pretty little palette. And I actually kind of like this like holographic sticker moment around the frame. It just makes it like a little extra special. And then here is the inside of the palette. Now, personally, I was like, at first, because there's a lot of pink, but there is true reds in here too that I'm like, I'm gonna like use today. Like the true reds in this palette are like what I needed from a cherry collection, but also when you get cherry stuff and you do have food with cherry in it, it just get kind of the pinky end when it gets all smushed up and stuff. So I totally get the color scheme. I quite like it. I'm just glad there's a true red in here because if there wasn't, I would be complaining. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and like get this crease off my eyelid from the primer. It always looks so weird. Good enough, and let's get started. So for the eyeshadow, I'm going to use this double-ended Sigma brush. It's an E38 and a E54. So blender mostly, and then I'll use the flat side for my shader. Because, if I can handle a look, you guys can too. I don't try to do super complex, crazy things you could never recreate. I'm just not that person. And also, I'm just going to do what I would do on a normal basis. So I'm going to start off with Cherry Stem, which is this kind of burnt, kind of slightly more brown out of any of the shades in the palette, taking it on that blending brush, tapping the excess. I just tried to use the mirror backwards. I'm going to put this in the, kind of higher up in our crease. We'll work our way down to do more of like a halo, I guess. This shade has more of a coolness to it, so that's why I'm not putting like the intense red right down first. I'm just going to put this, and then we'll add the deeper reds. But honestly, I wanted to do like just a regular get ready with me video since I had like this new thing to test out. I figured it'd be a good time. Because like there's been so much going on with my personal life that I've been just like all over the place, stressed. Like it's kind of why I even decided to film my makeup declutter series like ahead of time before I knew it was going to come out. Because I've been so busy. So Courtland and I are planning on moving when his lease is up in September, like mid-September. And I kept saying to myself, that's so far away, like we don't have to worry about it right now, we can just worry about it as it approaches. But in concept, that sounded great, and now it is only a month and a half away, because like by beginning of September we're gonna have everything packed up and everything, because we both have to work still, so every other thing that does not have to do with work, it's going to be packed up early, especially since he works every, weekday. So I'm like, let's just say, September 1st, we start living a different lifestyle. We're in boxes mostly. And then of course, give ourselves a couple days where we have both places so we can move everything to the new place. And then like clean up this because we do have a giant TV mounted on the wall above the fireplace in the living room. And we're going to fix the holes and, clean up and everything. Because I don't like to be that person who just moves their stuff out and leaves the place dirty. I don't like that. I need the place to be clean, respectful of, the people who work here and the people who come after us. I'm next going to take Black Cherry, which is that pure red. And the same blending brush, just lower down on the crease. So I'm like, if we move in like a couple days before this lease is up, so we have time with both to move everything, make sure the cats are transitioned well, and like, clean up. That'll be best. But I'm like, oh, September is literally like a month and a half away. Like if we're packing up end of August, beginning of September, that's really not that far away because it's already like almost the middle of July. And then I didn't expect, like I've only moved to one apartment complex by myself. I moved twice in the same apartment complex, and that was really a terrible idea for me. But I've only moved into like an apartment complex, like one other complex. I didn't know, because when I lived in North Carolina with Daniel and everything, we had private owners both times we moved. And, you know, it was really an easier situation, especially in North Carolina where everything is so much cheaper. So that was so much easier. And, you know, we kind of like paid $500 for our second apartment together. And that was it. And we got to move in, you know. But in like a city, like Jacksonville here in Florida and everything, I guess maybe just in any other big place that's not like super southern, there's so many fees that come along with moving, you know? Like I was in a cheap complex when I moved by myself, so it wasn't as many fees, but it still was more than I was used to. And now moving into a better place, because I'm always worried about people stealing my packages, to be honest, since it had happened before. It's so many fees. Like it's a $75 per person. There's 2 people. It's $150 every time we apply for a place. And they do a credit check. And my credit's already not great, so like I'm taking a credit hit every single time we apply for a place. And we have to apply for more than one, obviously, because it's like a really highly populated city. Like Jacksonville is the biggest city population in the US. You know, for the space, it's like the top 5 biggest cities, and by population for space, it is the most populated or something like that. That's what I heard. So anytime we apply for something, we know there's like a good chance it'll be swept up from under us by the time we need to apply for it. We have to apply ahead of time. So like we have to apply for more than one. What we want is 3 bedrooms, but that's not likely to happen. We want a single house. That's not likely to happen because we're still a month and a half out, and there's so many people in this town that unless you're ready to move in the next day, they're not going to hold it for you, you know? So we had to deal with that too. So it looks like we're probably going to have to do another apartment just because they do have more units available, and we'll have an answer for our apartment we're in now, whether we're leaving or not, because they wanted a yes or no to this apartment, whether we were staying and renewing our lease or not, by like next week. And that's still like almost exactly 2 months from the time the lease is up. So I'm like we have to get something. An apartment's the only thing that's gonna like, you know, secure our spot, because they have units that are coming out available like later. You don't know about when single houses and everything come out. So I was like worried about that. So I'm like, we just have to get something finalized, and we're still working on that at the moment. Because we have 2 applications in. It's just pending different fees. Like, oh, you have bad credit, you have a high risk $300 fee plus an extra $30 a month for accepting you. I'm like, that seems unreasonable. Or they're like, oh, the only unit we actually have after we apply and everything, they come up with all these new fees. It's like, oh, the only apartment we have is like a lake view, and we're gonna charge you an extra $40 a month plus your extra bad credit fee plus $75 for water per person, so $150 for water. And I'm like, these are just so many extra fees that I didn't expect. Like, I could expect a flat, you know, utility fee or whatever, but I never expect all this extra stuff. And then if you've like, it's in like a family community, so if you have a ton of kids, they don't charge you extra per person for water for the kids. They only charge it if you're an adult. So I'm like, this doesn't really seem fair, you guys. I'm gonna take a bite. I actually put a little bit in the purple crease, or this purple in the crease too. But I was talking. So it feels like they just stack stuff on top of stuff and top of stuff. So the place we were looking at, they're like, it's gonna be at least $3 grand plus first month's rent before you can move in. I'm like, that's insanity. Absolutely insanity, and I don't want to do that and stuff. So I gotta find a place. We have a place in mind right now, but it's expensive for what it is. But, you know, less hidden fees. I need more transparency. Because if we're gonna move, I don't want to move again like in a year when the lease is up again. I want to stay somewhere for a while. So I'm like, I want a place that seems transparent up front when signing the original lease, so that I don't have to expect some BS if we decide to renew in a year, you know? Like, I don't want to keep moving back and forth and stuff. And it would make so much more sense for us to just buy a house. But who's to say that we'll want to live here forever, you know? And like, Cortland's gonna go back to school, so I'm like, what if he gets a job and we want to move somewhere closer for his new job after he gets a degree? I don't know, you know? So I think I'm gonna take Very Cherry because it is the most pure red and put this on the lid. It's a shimmery shade. It's kind of a satiny shimmery, not like the most metallic in the world. So it's just so many things. Like, if it wasn't for all these unexpected fees and stuff, this would be easy breezy. We could just find a place, lock it down in time. And of course it wouldn't be like a solid house because we can't have it hold for a month and a half. And our current apartment complex says they can charge us up to 2 months of rent if we don't let them know by like next week if we're staying or not. So that's fun. So if you don't know if you have a place to move or not, 2 months before your lease is up, you owe us 2 more months rent. I can't even believe that's an actual legal thing. But I guess they want to, like, you know, go ahead and have people lined up to take the place over when we leave it. And I get it. It just seems kind of wrong. I'm not used to that kind of BS where I'm from. We kind of just do month to month after the year. It's kind of a trust thing. I don't know. This is my eyeshadow. I know I'm just complaining at the moment. I apologize, but also I had to say it to somebody because, you know, Cortland's tired of all of this stress from everything too, I'm sure. I'm going to add this like W7 little red thing under my lower lash line, and then I'm going to do mascara. But yeah, I'm just been really stressed out from that. That's why I kind of, like last week's video were all kind of pre-recorded because I needed to like go to viewings and, you know, list all the makeup for my makeup collection video, which took hours, by the way. And then like, you know, try to figure out what we're doing with all of that. And it didn't seem like it would really stress me out as much as it did, but it did. It really did. And it's still kind of weighing on me. Like, we've had 2 applications approved, which is great, but you know, all the unexpected fees and everything. Plus, like, I've never paid a pet deposit before because my other apartment didn't require one. And then everywhere else I lived didn't care because it was like private owners and stuff. It's like $600 for a non-refundable pet deposit plus an extra $20 per pet a month on rent. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. They just charge you anything because you need a place to live, you know? It's bonkers. It's crazy. And I even asked, like, because his cat, Baddie, is 13 or 14 years old, and he was declawed. I'm like, do we still have to pay a deposit for him if he, like, because, you know, he's elderly. Do we still have to pay per rent for him? Like, if he passes away, which I don't want to happen to him, do we save $15 or $20 on rent? Like, I don't know how that works. You just believe us that our pet passed away, or do we just keep paying it? I don't know how any of that works, you know? I mean, I really don't want anything to happen to Baddie because he is the sweetest little baby cat in the world, and he's a big old baby. Like, in the middle of the night, he'll stand up on the bed in front of us and just start crying because he wants us to carry him to the food bowl so other cats don't bother him. He wants us to carry him to the food bowl. In the morning, Cortland has an alarm set first thing in the morning, like 15 minutes before he gets out of actually gets out of bed, to open the like sliding glass door to let him on the patio in the morning because he likes the breeze. He'll cry if we don't open the patio for him in the morning. He's the biggest baby in the world, and I don't want anything to happen to him. But he is older, so I'm like, if anything did happen to him, are we still paying that? I don't know, like, how this works. I don't know how you can charge someone. I get the deposit because, you know, they could scratch something, you know, that you have to clean up the pet hair and everything after we do leave. But per month, like, you never know what's going to happen. It just seems like a lot. Maybe that's just me being dramatic. But all these extra fees, you know, the high risk fee, the pet fees, the water per person only for adults fees, the lakeside view fee, which I will never pay. It's just so much. And then they're like, oh, we got you a low deposit rate. but you have this high risk fee and then plus another half month's rent for your deposit. I'm like, that's not the lowest deposit. You just stack stuff on top of the lowest deposit. People will do anything to like try to get an extra dollar out of people, and it's insane. And I will never ever want to work in the real estate field because I feel like it's just gouging. Even if it is rent, you know, I feel like it's gouging people. It's the biggest pain. That's why I do not want to move again for a while. I've moved a lot in the last 2 years, just from my small studio thing to my apartment by myself that was 2 bedrooms, now one with Cortland, and now moving with him somewhere else. It's just a lot. And we could stay here if we're gonna have another 2-bedroom apartment, but we need like a better kitchen and stuff, and then we just want something new, you know, like something that's we got together, not something that I moved in with him. So it's a mess. It's a mess. These are the Instahoe lashes from Baddie. There's just so many things that like I did not expect to come up. Like the apartment we're thinking about, like just figure out what the fees are and stuff, and then see if we can take it. We're like, they come with washer and dryer, but we asked them if they'll take out the washer and dryer because we have our own and they're nicer and they're stacked, so they take up less space in the closet, and they won't take them. So I'm like, do we have 2 sets of washer and dryers? We just bought ours like 2, maybe 3 months ago. And it would feel really wrong to sell them, especially because they're nicer than the one the apartment complex comes with, because they come with like the bare minimum. But they won't take them out for us. And I don't want to pay for a storage unit just to hold a washer and dryer that we're not using for, who knows, maybe the next 2 or 3 years. You know, it just, impractical things. Every impractical thing that could come up has come up. And then the fact that we have to apply for more than one place just to know we have somewhere to live is ridiculous too. Because it's, again, $150 per application for the both of us. And a credit hit every time we apply for a place. And that money adds up, especially when we're going to pay for deposits and stuff. So I'm super stressed. I don't want this video to come off as me complaining about money and stuff, because I mean, obviously the moving stuff does have to do with money, but it's just the fact that it's just all happening all at once is just really stressful, and I didn't expect all of this, because I'm coming from a way more simple time, simple place, you know, in the back of fields and stuff where just people have owned the houses for like ever. It's just been in the family forever and they rent it out. Like, that's what I'm coming from. And now in a city, it's like a weird culture shock. I can't imagine living in like New York or anything. I think I would just pass away because they say things go like they're listed and gone within the same day. And I personally am too much of a stress ball for any of that. So this is the Colourpop BFF Cream Liner in Cherry Pie. It is the red one from the collection. They had like a pink one too, but the red one's obviously the one to use for the red look. Look at that little shadow my lashes leave. I hate that. I'm gonna put this in the waterline. Okay, this is Hidden Hills from Jeffree Star. I just wanted to put a nude lip on because this is like a lot. And honestly, with a little bit of purple and stuff on the lower lash line, it's kind of sunsetty. But that's it for the look, so this is the look we have going on. So here's my eye look up close. If it'll focus on my eye look. There we go. Looks very pretty, right? It looks very nice. I like it a lot. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. What do we think? Overall, I love this mirror. I almost hit myself in the face. I love this mirror. I think it's super cute. It was really easy to use. The Cherry Crush palette performed really well. I know I was talking through the entire application, but I mean, I think we're kind of knowing staple formulas from Colourpop now. It actually worked out really well. Like, everything was nice, and I'm surprised it didn't get too pink, because sometimes when you blend out reds, they just turn into pinks, which this one didn't. And then a little bit of darker purpley shade, which is this one, under lower lash line. It makes this, with the red liner, look like a little bit of a sunset moment, and it's really pretty. The eyeliner worked really well too. I was actually surprised. I really enjoyed the eyeliner. I was not optimistic that I would love it, but it actually pops really well. I used the Hidden Hills lipstick from Jeffree Star, the W7 liquid eyeliner. Well, it's a glitter eyeliner, but I used it on our lower lash line. The Instahoe lashes from Baddie, the BFF black mascara from Colourpop, and that's it for my face. Overall, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry I ranted. I really am. But at the same time, like, it feels good to get out of my system, you know? And I'm also like nervous as far as like, I feel like we should get a second tour in the apartment we're thinking about taking so that I can get measurements, because if we're getting another 2-bedroom, we're not going to keep our desks set up in our work areas in the dining room because the dining room is more narrow. So I'm like, if we have to do both of our huge desk setups in the same bedroom and I have to work in the same bedroom, I got to figure out a whole new set situation that like still looks aesthetically pleasing behind me, you know, because I'm not gonna have like a whole room to myself. It's gonna be so stressful. I don't like the fact that we're not getting anything huge and bigger, but we could get a 3-bedroom one for the price we're trying to pay, but it wouldn't be renovated. Like, it would be all carpet in every room, not just the bedrooms, and like old appliances, old looking cabinets and stuff. And I'd rather have nice new kitchen appliances and big closets rather than having an extra room, I think. To give or take, because you know, like, you could have a smaller place and be more cramped, but it would look aesthetically pleasing, or you could have a slightly bigger place and it wouldn't be aesthetically pleasing, but you'd have more room. So I don't know. Let me know which one you would take out of those 2 options down below. Thank you guys so much. I really like the cherry collection, and I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with me. Of course, I will leave my brand, theopencrypt.com, link down below, of course. I said of course twice. I don't know why. But thank you guys so much. I'll see you later. Bye.